Hey, welcome to another episode of Stogie from the Road. What's up, everybody? It's old Stogie the trucker and his faithful companion, Bonnie. Who's sleeping right now? Shocker. We're in Post Falls, Idaho today. Got a little chain law throwing a wrench in the situation. So we're sitting here thinking about our next move. Like Bill Kruger says, I'm sitting here having my coffee. Right now I got my little trusty orange mug and I'm thinking about my next move. Hold on a second. Yeah, still nothing yet. All right. Long time no see. Haven't seen y'all in a while. Been busy. Been a lot going on. We haven't caught up yet. But let's take this opportunity to bring y'all up to speed. Oh, Stogie hurt himself recently. I fell off my catwalk and effed up my shoulder. So long story short, I was on my catwalk putting my blankets away in my headache rack and had my feet on the catwalk, and I thought my right foot was on the catwalk and it wasn't, and stepped down and went that away. Took a tumble, went straight down on my shoulder. You don't think it's that far of a fall, but sitting at 2+ bills, falling that far straight on your shoulder. Thank God, the doctor said, thank God I tucked my elbow into my rib cage and didn't try to brace my fall or I'd have broke my arm. But I fractured my socket, had some internal bleeding, and messed up the tendons and dislocated it. Wound up dislocating it twice. I'm telling you this so you guys know how much of a tough little trucker I am. She's pretty sore. Basically, the doctor says I can go out with this arm here, and I can go up, down, out, and then pull towards me. But this, or going straight out, that ain't happening. It'll pop it right back out of socket, and I've done it a couple times. And he said, if you keep popping it out, it's like wearing the rubber off a tire. Eventually the cartilage's going to be gone and you're going to get stuck out of socket and you're going to have surgery, and I do not want to have surgery. So all you guys send me messages saying to get surgery, guys, I really don't want to do that. I don't want to be out of work that long. Which brings me to this subject. We had a little situation over the weekend that a lot of people think I'm not injured. And I'm going to tell you a little story that kind of ties into people's misconceptions on the fact that I'm back to work already and shit like that. I mean, I know most of you guys can sympathize with me, but as in anything, you're in the public eye in any way, shape, or form. There's always going to be some Britannica out there that has all the effing answers. So I'm going to tell you a little story that kind of brings this all together. A couple years ago when I was driving for Boyd Brothers, just got into trucking, I was hauling some slinky coils out of Arkansas. It was a shitty day. And you first get into trucking and you kind of have that conception that, these are the amount of hours I'm working and this is how much money I should make. And, I'm working 70 hours a week and tarping and dropping every day and chaining and all this stuff, and I'm in this crappy ass weather. Nothing's going right, and I'm doing slinky coils for the first time, which are an extraordinary pain in the ass when you first start securing shit. And I was struggling with it, and I'm just miserable. And I'm thinking in my mind, this is fiscally irresponsible what I'm doing. This job does not make financial sense whatsoever. So as I'm sitting there in my own head, I'm feeling sorry for myself. I'm throwing shit, and I'm mad. I'm just extremely, extremely mad. This old Freightliner Classic XL pulls up behind me, and paint's chipping. It's like a yellow. It was yellow at one time. It's just like a faded yellow, and it's an old truck. This old, see, just reaching up for my CB hurts. This old man gets out of the truck. Man, I tell you what, you'd think Jackie Wilson just got out of the truck. This man is singing up a storm. Just singing and whistling and happy as can be. And he's pulling straps and chucking them. The guy was just the epitome of happiness and in love with what he does. And I just kind of dropped my head. And I'm like, damn. I'll tell you what, I'm turning you off. I was like, geez, this guy's really happy. And then I look closer. And the guy's only got one arm. His right arm has got a hook. This guy has got a barely decent truck, but gets the job done. It's a horrible day, the same day that I'm dealing with. And he's missing an arm. And he's happy. He's taking joy in what he does. And guys, if you would have seen it, you would understand where I'm coming from. It just wasn't him passing the time and singing. This guy was rejoicing in what he's doing. And I hung my head in shame. I'm like, God. On the surface, I have more than this guy has. Now, granted, he's probably making more money than me, but, you know, at that time, you could have had a paper route and made more money than me. And he's happy. I've got both of my arms, and he's happier than I am. My truck's newer than his, and he's happier than I am. We're both in the same weather, and he's happier than I am. So, it changed my perspective that day, but it didn't really make sense until recently. I wound up getting in a shouting match over the phone with some fellow driver who is just absolutely convinced that I'm faking this injury. Typically, I don't give any air to this type of nonsense. I deal with this all the time. There's always somebody that has some sort of bullshit to say about my videos because I'm so vocal about what I personally believe in, and I'm gonna say it. You know what I believe and you know what I think, and I'm gonna say it regardless if you like it or not. If you don't like it, get on. But this guy just went on and on and on. He's like, hey, no way you got a busted shoulder and you can wash your truck. Ain't no way you got a messed up shoulder, you can clean out your fifth wheel. And I thought about it, and initially I was like, God, I'm truly injured. I mean, to the point where, you know, for the first 3 to 4 weeks of this, I had to have my wife help me get dressed. Just up till recently, I barely have been able to sleep. And I've made these people think that I'm faking it. Guys, I take it really personal because it didn't really hit me until I went home that I can't sleep on my right side because it'll pop my shoulder out. I put the weight on my shoulder. So I have to sleep on my left side. But when I come home, when I sleep at night, I hold my wife. I put my arm around her and I hold my wife while we sleep. And when I put my arm around her, any wrong movement will yank my arm out of socket. So imagine being madly in love with your wife and missing her terribly and coming home and you can't hold her. And then somebody question the validity of the pain that you're going through. And I'm thinking, I did this to myself. And then I had a conversation with my dispatcher, Josh, an extraordinary guy. Not just my dispatcher, but my friend. And he told me, and it cleared everything. If you love something enough, and you're passionate enough about something, you'll find a way. And that's what I did the day that I cleaned out my fifth wheel and washed my truck. I just came off a 2-week run going through salt and snow and ice and all that stuff and damaging my polish, and I couldn't take it anymore looking at it in my driveway. And I found a way. You know, this arm can move forward and backward, right? So this arm holds the bottom of the pole. This arm holds the top of the pole. I can do that. This arm can spray off the truck. This arm can lean between my drives and reach in there and clean everything off. while this arm sprays the degreaser and the cleaner on my fifth wheel. This arm does all the work. I found a way. I didn't really think about it, but I love this truck. I think you all know that. This truck means so much to me, and it shows. You know, and what it did was, once that concept hit me, it wasn't me. It didn't hit me as that Sean is the problem here. The only thing this person accomplished by questioning me was showing that we have a different sense of values, a different set of priorities. I love my truck. I love what I do. I may not do it like you. I might not run as hard as you do, but my passion for this truck is unquestionably substantial. How much I love what I do is without reproach. And I dare anybody to question it. I'll meet you halfway every time if you want to debate it. So, like I said, typically I don't address the Monday morning quarterbacks or the haters and all that stuff. I don't like using that term haters because I think it generalizes. I think it's just overly opinionated people that they're the type that will see a movie trailer and say the movie sucks without seeing the movie. They'll see the cover of a book and say the book sucks without reading the book. We all have our different set of circumstances. We all have our different lives. We all have our different commitments, and our actions go in accordance with it. I run the way I run because it's what suits my life, and thankfully I work for a company that allots me that privilege. And then as far as the way I handle this truck, this is the way I believe deep down in my core how I believe I should treat this truck. I'm an ambassador for this company when I'm out on the road. When people see me going up and down the road, they're not looking at my ELD trying to see how many miles I rode that day. They're looking at the quality of the truck and the image of this truck going up and down the road, hauling somebody's freight, whether it's in this van or whether it's on a flatbed. It's a depiction of the reputation of this company. And I take a lot of pride in it because if this truck looks like shit, then I look like shit. Wow, that's a really nice truck, but it looks terrible. That means the driver does not appreciate the privilege of driving such a fine piece of equipment. Guys, I'm not going to waver on that. Regardless of what you think, regardless of what your beliefs are. This individual actually said out of his mouth on the phone, knock off those effing videos. Well, I'm here to tell you in this video, so you can pause it, rewind it, share it with your friends. I'm never going to stop these videos. Because for every one of you that do not like what I say or do in these videos, I've got 10 to 15 to 20 text messages, emails, comments on my videos that say keep it up. We love your videos. I had a message today from a dear friend saying thank you for allowing us into you and Bonnie's life and your life. My family and my children have fallen in love with you guys. That's what I do it for. I don't do it for you. I've been outspoken about certain things in the industry that are my own personal opinion. We live in a time where we have freedom of speech and we're able to verbalize that. And if it doesn't suit you, then don't watch the videos. If you don't agree with it, don't watch the videos. It's as simple as that. You know, I don't watch the news anymore because it plays a factor in my psychological well-being. I don't subject myself to things that I don't agree with or things that I don't like that affect me personally. I don't subject myself to that. So if my videos rub you the wrong way, then please tune out. Please unfriend me. Please go on with your life. No harm, no foul. You go your way, I'll go mine. But to tell me to stop in a day and age where free speech and, in my opinion, censorship really means a lot to me, I'm not going to stop. I've had new drivers getting ready to get their CDLs hit me up and ask me for advice. I've had old drivers say thank you. Thank you for saying what you say. You know, I was told the other day when I was kind of tore up about this, I wasn't really tore up, I was more of a nuisance than anything. I was told, if you don't piss anybody off in this life, that means you didn't stand for anything. It means you didn't do anything. You know, I love trucking. I love what I do. I feel strongly in my heart about my fellow truckers out there. The sad fact is that there are some people that are so far gone and so jaded and so upset and so pissed off and so mean that I've come to the realization that we really don't have a driver shortage. We have a pay shortage to a certain degree. It's really not a driver problem, it's a humanity problem. The vitriol that goes on this CV and the things that are said on Facebook pages, and God forbid you post a picture of your securement or things like that. This industry, I've never seen anything like it. There has a certain degree of eating its young. And it's sad, because this is a beautiful life. Yeah, there's a nuisance to where you're trucking right along and you got time left on your clock, but you have to stop because, mountain passes are closed, or, the snow and the ice scare the shit out of you, or bad drivers cut you off and treat you like dog shit, or going to a shipper or receiver during the heart of the pandemic and they make you use a Porta-John out in the parking lot because you're not allowed in, but the Porta-John doesn't have hand sanitizer or toilet paper at a time where everybody's supposed to be clean. Things like that. I could go on and on. So getting into this industry, you have to develop, and I hear this all the time, you have to have a thicker skin. You have that in this industry, so you have to be prepared that you're going to be met with a push if you're wanting to get into it. But my buddy Dooner said the other day, he's like, if you don't like this industry, do something about it. You've got everything right here, this phone right here. Everything I do, video, editing wise, all that stuff I do straight from my phone. I don't even use my MacBook. Make a difference. And not everybody's going to agree with you, and I'm finding that out tenfold. Doesn't mean I'm going to change. I may be new to this industry, but I'm not new to the real world, and I'm not new to work ethic, and I'm not new to having a moral compass and dignity. I grew up in a small town in Ohio to where work ethic is everything. My father gave up 3 of his fingers in a factory and never complained and never sued and never did anything. I grew up, every man that I grew up that worked, as far as setting the tone for work ethic, they worked in the factories, first or second shift, and when they weren't working in the factories, they had a side job, a machine shop at home, construction in the evenings or something like that, where they come home from work, eat something, change clothes, go out to the shop, work until midnight, go to bed, do it all over again. There's a saying from an old timer in one of the books that was written for my hometown that this old timer said, he goes, I don't remember ever eating a sandwich that didn't have fingerprints on it. That's the cloth I'm cut from. So going back to this, yeah guys, I hurt myself really bad. I stayed home for 6 days and I got back after it because I love what I do. And I'd rather be in pain out here in this truck going up and down the highway than sitting at home collecting workman's comp. I may be in pain washing my truck, but that truck is a depiction of me and my character. So I'm going to rough it out and I'm going to clean that truck. And I'm going to be careful, but I'm going to do it. When I see that there's something wrong with my fifth wheel, that if I take off down the road, I could drop a trailer and kill somebody, I'm going to get a little uncomfortable and make sure that doesn't happen. Especially with the fifth wheel. When you see that at home, what am I going to do? Call somebody? Am I going to have my wife do it? What is wrong with you? And this is a guy with quite a few years of experience in trucking. It's kind of stunning that he's that far into this journey in trucking that he concerns himself with stuff that really has no bearing on his life whatsoever. But I digress. Guys, this is just a video to bring you up to date on where all Stogie and Bonnie is. And my commitment to take you guys all along for the ride. Guys, I love you. God bless each and every one of you. I hope you're happy, healthy, loving, and living life. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. And Bonnie and I will see you on the back hall. Giddy up. See, even that hurt. Guys, have a good day.